Welcome. This lesson should hopefully be fairly easy and straightforward since we've already learned how to find the volume of prisms. Volume of cylinders are very similar to volumes of prisms. In other words, we still need to find the area of the base and multiply it by the height or the distance between the two bases. So for our cylinders that are like pop cans, we find the area of the circular base. So remember, a circle is pi r squared. That's why I have this b here is equal to pi r squared. That's the area of a circle where r is our radius. And then we're going to multiply it by the height to get our final volume. So for this particular very short squat pop can, we have a radius, this little dotted line here, a radius of 11. So I'm going to have 11 squared. And I'm going to multiply that by the height, which is 6. And then they're using 3.14 for pi. So I'm not using the pi button in my calculator. I'm actually just using 3.14 for pi. I multiply all those together on a calculator, and I get 2,279.64. And I go out to 0.64 because it says to round to the nearest hundredth. So again, this lesson should be fairly simple as long as you take the moment to write down this equation, maybe even more specifically, write down this equation right here, because their base is always going to be this pi r squared times it by the height. We always get our final answer. So as you move forward, they will not necessarily draw the figure. So if you need to, draw the figure. If you don't, by all means, you don't need to draw the figure. So what I'm going to do here just quickly is I'm just going to realize that all I need to know to find the volume is I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, 3.14. I'm going to multiply that by the radius, because that's pi, the radius squared. So what is the radius? Well, a cylinder has a height of 11 and a radius of 20. So I'm going to multiply it by 20 squared and then multiply it by the height. And right here, the cylinder has a height of 11 again. So then I multiply all those together and I type in my answer, which happens to be a nice whole number, 13,816. 16, not 15, 16. So it says round to the nearest hundredth, but there was no decimal point, so I just do that. You will definitely obviously need a calculator for this assignment, so grab a calculator so you can do this. But again, all of them should be no more difficult than that. Even when I jump up here higher up, except we might work backwards. So let's do one that works backwards. So what I mean by backwards is basically in this lesson, they give us, or in this problem, they give us the volume. They give us V. And then they also give us the radius. They give us R. So what I did is I replaced the volume with 20,096 equals, again, pi, they said he uses 3.14. I replaced R with 20 squared times some H, because it says what is the height. So then the 3.14 times 20 squared is 1,256 times some unknown height equals this volume. Then I just divide over the 1,256. So our height is 20,096 divided by 1,256. And I did that in my calculator, and it comes out to a nice whole number of 16. So again, they might give you the r squared, or the r and the v, or they might give you the h and the v. If they give you the h and the v, then you might have to do a square root. Let's see if I can find one of those really quickly. Like this one. This one gives us the volume and the height, and it asks for the radius. So at some point, we're going to have to square root. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the volume is 2,826 is equal to pi, which again, we're using 3.14 for pi, times some unknown radius squared times the height, which is 9. So again, that 2,826 is going to equal these two numbers multiplied. So what I've done again is I've just replaced the pi with 3.14, the height with 9. The volume is 2,876. 3.14 times that 9, those two numbers that multiply together gives you 28.26. Divide that over. That gives you 100 equals r squared. Now this is where you square root. And the square root of 100 is 10. So you might get one where you have to square root at some point. If you have any questions, do please bring them to class.